Okay, module 5. First section is simplifying fractions with x. Uh, 3x squared over 2x squared. So a few different ways you could look at the x stuff. It'll probably be easy. You know, if you've got the exact same thing on top and bottom, you can go ahead and cancel those if they're being multiplied. So x squared and x squared could be gone. That's one way to look at it. You can also think of it as x times x. You know, x squared is just 2x is being multiplied. On the bottom, the same thing, x times x. And of course, if it's the same thing, they cancel each other. So all the x's are gone. All we're left with is the 3 and the 2. And you will want to reduce that if they've got something in common, but 3 and 2 don't. So pretty easy, hopefully. (27x squared over 72x to the third). I'm going to write this out. 27 I'll leave alone, but x squared, x times x. You don't necessarily have to do it that way, but that's how we'll do it for these ones. And then 72, here we've got 3 x's. Anytime you've got the same thing on bottom and top, we can go ahead and cancel it. So 1x and 1x is gone. A second x and another x is gone. So 27 on top, all the x's are gone up top. We've got 72 on the bottom and 1x. (27 and 72, they do have something in common, so you'll want to reduce that if you can. You guys might not know this, but if you add the digits, you can see if 3 goes into them. 2 and 7, if you add those, you get 9. So that tells you that 3 goes in. If you add 7 and 2 on the bottom, that adds to 9. So that tells you that 3 goes in. If they add to 9, that tells you 9 goes in. So 9 goes into both of these. So reduce by 9. You could start by 3 and then just keep reducing so you can't reduce anymore. But maybe notice these reduced by 9. And we get to 27 divided by 9 is 3. 72 divided by 9 is 8. And we've got that x on bottom. Make sure that you're not writing 3 over 8x out to the side. That x has to be on bottom. Because remember, we had 3 of them and only 1 of them left over. So numbers reduce and no more x's to reduce. Okay, next section, adding and subtracting polynomials. Adding and subtracting polynomials. And by the way, just so this word doesn't throw anybody, polynomials, some examples of those would be monomials, binomials, trinomials. Monomials, binomials, trinomials. Trinomials, try 3. They've got 3 terms, you know, 2x plus 5 plus 7x squared, something like that. But 3 different terms adding. Binomials, just 2 terms. Monomials, 1 term. So these are just the different types of polynomials that we're talking about. Okay, so an example of that 6x squared plus 6x plus 9 in the first parentheses, and then we're adding x squared plus 2x in the second parentheses. So here are the two polynomials that we're adding: a trinomial plus a binomial. You don't necessarily need to remember that, but just so the polynomials thing doesn't throw anybody. Trinomial plus a binomial. If you're adding, just gonna just rewrite everything without parentheses. So if you've got a plus in the middle of those two parentheses, you're gonna rewrite everything without parentheses. And we're just gonna put together like terms after that. Rewrite everything without parentheses. So we've got 6x squared plus 6x plus 9. And we're adding everything in the second parentheses. So plus x squared plus 2x. So we've got some x squareds we can put together. We've got some x's that we can put together. So I'm going to draw a little line, putting them together. So 6x squared. Don't forget there's a 1 in front of that x squared. So 6x squared and 1x squared is going to be 7x squared. Also, the 6x and the 2x we can put together. The variable part doesn't change when you're adding. You're just putting the numbers out front together. So the 6 and the 1 become 7x squared. And then the 6x and the 2x, 8x. And then that 9 doesn't have another constant to go with it. So it's just going to be plus 9. Okay, so hopefully that seems pretty simple. The ones where people do tend to make errors on these are the subtraction ones. So negative 2x squared minus 4x plus 2, and then we've got a minus in the middle. And then negative 6x plus 2. So make sure you notice that you've got a minus in the middle. So a couple different ways you could look at this. You could think of it as distributing a minus through there. So minus negative 6x is going to be a plus. Negative is going to be a plus. When you distribute the minus to the positive 2, negative and a positive is going to make a negative. So hopefully you can keep that in mind that negative is distributed through. So negative 2x squared minus 4x plus 2. The first parentheses doesn't change at all. But from there, we're distributing the negative 6x is going to be plus. And then the negative, when distributed to positive 2, is going to be negative. So that's really the only change. On the first one, none of the signs changed. They all stayed the same. When we're subtracting, all the signs in the second parentheses change. The negative 6x is positive now. The positive 2 is negative now. Then we're just putting like terms together. The x squared doesn't have anything to go with, but the negative 4x and the 6x we can put together. The positive 2 and the negative 2 we can put together. And make sure you notice that this is negative 4. It's not just 4. So negative 4 and 6. Positive 2x, and then negative or positive 2 and negative 2, those two cancel each other out. So another thing they'll ask you to do in this section is find the sum of. It's basically just doing what we just did just a minute ago, except so you'll have a plus in the middle. So find the sum of 10x squared minus 10x minus 6 and x plus 6. So find the sum of 10x squared minus 10x minus 6 and x plus 6. And you just need to know that sum, you guys probably know this already, is addition. So that's what you'll be given, that whole phrase to start with. And this here is what you'll want to write when you're starting that problem. You've got the first thing in parentheses and sum, so adding to the second parentheses. And then you're just doing what we did up above. You've got addition in the middle. You can remove the parentheses and just add like terms. So just removing the parentheses, and we'll put together the things that go together. So the x's can go together, the -6, +6 can go together. Make sure you notice that's -10. And there's a 1 in front of that x there. So -10 and +1. If you think it, you can put this in a calculator always, but I usually suggest to people maybe they think of it in terms of a bank. If your bank balance is -10 and you put $1 in, it's a -9 now. -6 and +6, those cancel each other out. Okay, one more on this part, and then we'll do the next one. Subtract. Okay, subtract -5x squared plus 7x plus 1 from, so I'm gonna underline both of these. -5x squared plus 7x plus 1 from 8x squared plus x minus 10. One thing you'll want to be careful about here, obviously we're going to be subtracting these two. When I say subtract this from this, if they say subtract 2 from 10, that means you're doing the 2 second. You're doing 10 minus 2. So -5x squared plus 7x plus 1 from the other means that's going to go second. So we're going to reverse the order. So the 8x squared plus x minus 10 is going to go first, and then we're subtracting the other. The polynomial that was mentioned first is being subtracted from the other one. And make sure when you're subtracting a whole polynomial that you subtract -5x squared, you subtract 7x, and you subtract 1. So nothing happens to this first parentheses. But then from there, we're doing all our subtraction. If you subtract -5x squared, what's that sign? Yeah, it's going to be positive 5x squared. If you subtract 7x, negative. And then if you subtract positive 1, that's negative also. So basically, you should end up with all different signs for that second parentheses. Negative 5 is positive, positive 7 is negative, positive 1 is negative also. Just drawing a line between the like terms, 8x squared, 5x squared. Keep in mind that's positive 1x. So 1x and negative 7x. You got $1 in the bank account. You take out 7. And negative 6x. And then also the negative 10 and negative 1. Negative 11. Multiplying binomials. Binomials just have two terms, x plus 6, that's one binomial. 3x minus 8, it's another binomial. So multiplying a two-term polynomial with another two-term polynomial, multiplying binomials. A lot of times this is referred to as FOIL. I'm not going to explain that so much, but the F part means first times first. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to distribute the x to both of the terms in the second polynomial. So x times 3x, also x times negative 8. But the x times 3x, that the first thing in the first polynomial times the first thing in the second polynomial, that's the F part. The O is outer. So that's the outside ones, the x and the negative 8, the outside ones. The I is inner, so the two inside ones, and the L is last. So the last thing in this first one, last thing. But basically all we're doing is you're distributing the x and we'll distribute the 6. And just to clarify, that is multiplying. So when we take x times 3x, we're not adding them, multiplying. So x times 3x is going to be 3x to the second. X times x is, you're just going to add the exponents on there, the 1 and the 1. Then we're doing x times negative 8. And then we're doing the inside one, so the i's, the 6 and the 3x. 18x multiplying. Then we're doing the 6 times the negative 8. Negative 48. And then what all we've got to do is add like terms. We've got x's in the middle that we can add. Negative 8 and 18. Positive 10. And then the 3x squared at the front doesn't have anything to go with it. The negative 48 on the end doesn't have anything. So that's as far as we can go. Okay, just wanted to do a little bit more with negative numbers. So x minus 9 times 3x minus 9, multiplying polynomials. So we're going to take this first x and we're going to multiply it times everything in the second parentheses. So x times the 3x, x times the negative 9. And then after we do that, we're going to do the same thing with the negative 9. We're going to multiply it times 3x, multiply it times negative 9. Make sure you distribute the signs. So x times 3x, we just did that on the last one. 3x squared. X times negative 9. Negative 9x. And then moving on to the middle. So we're done with x. Now we're moving on to the negative 9. Negative 9 times negative 3. Negative 27x. Then we're doing negative 9 times negative 9. Positive 81. No, there shouldn't be any negative 3's in there. Is that what I said? Yeah. Those numbers look right. 3x times x, 3x squared minus 9x minus 27x plus 81. Numbers look right. I might have said the wrong thing. In the middle, if you've got like terms, add those. So we've got 3x squared, nothing to combine there, but negative 9 and negative 27. Negative 36. And then the 81 doesn't have anything to go with it. Okay, so 3x squared minus 36x plus 81. All right, we'll do one more of those. 3x plus 3. And then 3x plus 8. 3x plus 3, 3x plus 8. Not really much different here. So multiplying binomials, so we want to take the 3x times everything in the second parentheses. Same with the 3. What's 3x times 3x going to be? 9x squared. Okay, that's really all I wanted to show on this one. And then 3x times 8, 24x. Then in the middle, 3 times 3x, 9x. And then 3 times 8, 24. Like terms in the middle we can put together. 9x squared doesn't have anything to go with it, but 24 and 9. 33x plus 24. Okay, so next section, multiplying. And we're almost done, by the way. So much shorter module 5 than module 4. Multiplying polynomials again, some of those will be monomials, binomials, trinomials. 2x plus 1 binomial times x squared minus 4x plus 8 trinomial. Got 3 terms times a 2-term one. So we're basically doing the same thing we did with binomials. You've got 2 things in the first parentheses. We're going to distribute both of those. 2x times x squared. What do we take 2x times next? Times negative 4x, and then times 8. What would we multiply after that? 1 times x squared, and then 1. So that's basically it. So it doesn't matter how many terms are in the second parentheses. Even if you had 5 terms in the second parentheses, you just distribute the 2x to all of them, distribute the 1 to all of them. You end up with a bunch of terms on the next step, put together all the like terms. So 2x times x squared, that's going to be 2x to what power? 3, yeah. So just adding the 1 and the 2 there. And then 2x times negative 4x, that's going to be negative 8x to the second. Then doing 2x times 8, that should be pretty easy. Then doing 1 times x squared. 1 times anything is going to be just whatever that thing is. So 1 times x squared is just 1x squared. 1 times negative 4x. 1 times 8. So 2x cubed minus 8x squared plus 16x plus x squared minus 4x plus 8. Going to draw a line connecting the like terms. X cubed doesn't have anything to go with it, but the x squareds we can combine. 16x and negative 4x. How many x squareds do we have? Yep, negative 7x squared. It's negative 8, positive 1, negative 7. And then 16x minus 14, or minus 4x, 12. And any other like terms? Plus 8 by itself. Yeah, so x squared cubed doesn't have anything. X squared, nothing to combine anymore. Okay, I think that's a good enough number of examples on that one. Squaring. Simple binomials. So 2 more examples and then I'll let you guys work. Squaring simple binomials. Express x minus 6 as a trinomial. And then I think there's some more words after that. Just as a side note, 4 squared, I'm sure you guys know this means 4 times 4. And you can make that 16, obviously. If you've got 5 squared, of course, that means 5 times 5. So just a little side note. So when we square a binomial, x minus 6 squared, what that means is we're taking x minus 6 times x minus 6. We're just squaring it, taking it times itself, just like you would with the 4 or with the 5, taking it times itself. And let me write this in blue. So x minus 6 times x minus 6. And we've already spent some time on how to solve that. You're going to distribute the x, distribute the to both of those in the second polynomial, distribute the negative 6 after that. So starting with the x times x, x times negative 6. On the inside, negative 6 times x. And then negative 6 times negative 6, 36. So combining the 2 like terms in the middle, negative 6 and negative 6 is negative 12.
So the fact that it's x squared and just x by itself and then nothing with the variable, it is a trinomial now.
Yeah, because we've got 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. So it becomes a trinomial. All right, so one more, nothing new here. Express x plus 5 squared as a trinomial. So I'm just going to go through the same motions as the last one. You might see if you can get to the answer before I do. So x plus 5 squared, that means we're just taking it times itself. And we'll distribute the x times x times 5. We'll distribute the 5 times x, 5 times 5. So x times x squared, x times 5, positive 5x. In the middle, 5 times x. And then 5 times 5. All right, x squared plus 10x plus 25 should be your final answer. All right, so that's it for module 5. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys finish this pretty quickly. I'm going to open up module 6 early. I'm going to open it up this week, today, but it won't be due until not next Tuesday. It'll be the Tuesday after that.
27.
Is that what the date is?
The week from the game is 19. That's when module 5 is.
Okay.
Are you going to go over the project?
Yeah, I'll pull the project up here in a little bit. We'll talk about a few of the problems just to give you guys an idea how to do them. Some of them I'm going to leave for you guys to kind of wrestle with a little bit. Okay. Let's see.